Have you ever catch yourself defending a group you belong to, even when something doesn't quite seem right? Yeah, I know I had, and it made me wonder, who am I really beneath the label? Hello, my Hello Kindness friend. Have you ever found yourself in that situation that you defend a group, but not because you fully agreed, but because it felt like you belong to that group is part of who you are? It could be your friends, your workplace, your political side, your country, or even your spiritual circle. Because I remember when I was younger, I went along with something that didn't sit quite well with me, just because my friends were doing it, and I went along doing it the same. And even now, when I think back, it feels personal, and I'm kind of, shameful to share it publicly. But I think the point is not, I'm not here to shame my past self, but to gently open the space around something that I think many of us also experience. Um, my background growing up between cultures, I was born in Hong Kong and raised here in the US. I've seen how group identity can both uplift us and also limit us. I think group identity offers comfort, belonging, safety, but it also teaches us sometimes silently, like who to trust, who to question, and what truth is supposed to sound like. And have you ever heard, or maybe even said, when you're standing on one side, like, oh, we would never do that. You're representing a group. We would never do that. No, they always lie. Or this is how we are. But when I pause and let my awareness surface, I question, like, who is this we, like us? And what does this sense of belonging to a group belong to, like us? What happens when it start to stir or make us not think clearly as an individual? What happens when our own clarity, when our own inner heart goes against that collective momentum, right? That's going to be a challenge. I want to share something that I saw a speech recently on YouTube. So I recently watched a college graduation speech from a student. I think it was moving. It was full of humanity, sincerity, and hope. A reminder that we rise and fall together as one human family. I think that's the core message. Most of the comments, when I look at the comment section, were filled with encouragement, admiration. But then I saw another reaction video. That one, all the comments were filled with skepticism and attacks, accusing that graduate student was being fake, too polished, and manipulative. So my first instinct looking at that reaction video was frustration. I felt the message was just like many other comment in that first video was, we felt, admirable. I think the message was very kind. And then I wanted to argue and write something back in the second video to defend, but then I paused. And I think that pause is what mindfulness gives us. It helped me notice my emotional charge, like the inner shift. And so instead of reacting, I asked, okay, why am I feeling this so deeply? My internal dialogue, I ask, oh, maybe what lens are they seeing through, like the other side that had all this criticism? And sometimes I think, maybe their past experiences or a group identities shape their own response, just like we maybe perhaps unconsciously or not knowing that we lean toward one group and the others lean toward the other group. Just like how when I look at the first video, most of the comments were very kind, well receptive. And I think deeply that, situations that we face every day, at the end of the day, I think it's not about proving who is right. I think it calls us to really ask us to see things more clearly. Are we able to open up and to see more, be open and see things from different side? Because for many things that we're going through as a whole right now in our society, I think if we want to move forward together, we need deeper questions, but not louder voices just leaving comments and bashing off the other side, something that you disagree with. I think there are other examples that we can relate to, such as a form of political reflection, because we see this in politics too. For example, have you ever noticed how you can often predict how a vote will go just by knowing which party someone's in? Because very likely one side, let's say the Democrat, will always vote one side and the Republicans will always vote the other side for the most part. And then I would think, like, what does that say about independent thought? Are our leaders truly voting from conviction, or they just go along with the party line? And I think this isn't about blaming, and it's not a blame game. It's an invitation for all of us to reflect, because I think real progress isn't just about moving in one direction. It's about whether we chose that direction consciously, or are we following it blindly? So do we want to choose consciously, or do we just want to follow blindly? And I think this is the part that comes the role of mindfulness. And this is where our channel, Hello Kindness, is to promote, encourage mindfulness and kindness, a little bit of mindfulness every day. And I think this mindfulness really matters, especially in the world today. And I think mindfulness, it doesn't tell us who to support or what side to support or what group to support. But it helps us to notice why we are supporting anyone, because it encourages us to think deeply. Mindfulness isn't about being neutral. It's about being awake, choosing consciously, knowing yourself. It makes us to ask ourselves, am I reacting from fear or responding from clarity? Am I aligned with the truth? If so, what kind of truth? Your truth or their truth? Put everything into perspective. Or are we just riding my group's momentum, follow along without awareness? So I think with awareness, we can respond by choice and not by reflex. And real power is choosing the appropriate response at the appropriate time. How about right now, just pause with me for the moment, and let's recall a time. Can you recall a time when you reacted to something or a situation, not because of truth, but because you just went along with the group decision or the momentum at that time? And if I ask you, like, now imagine, just pause for a moment and imagine, what if you had just a little more space in that moment, that you could have think clearly and choose consciously? Would you have chosen differently? Just sit with that and think about that. So I think with mindfulness, and awareness, a rise of awareness, we can return back to our true self. So what can we do? Because we face situations like that every day. We can practice, and I think Practice meaning through meditations, through mindfulness, variety of ways. It's so important because without a solid inner foundation, we just tend to follow the herd. It feels easier, safer, but it also keeps us from growing into who we really are. I think meditation and mindfulness prepare us so when challenges come, we're steady. No, not perfect, but steady. So next time something stirs you, you can ask, like, what parts of me feels threatened? Am I seeking to understand or to win? Am I clinging on to my group or acting from grounded clarity? And then breathe. Practice like this. When there's a moment that you feel like you're being pulled to one direction, or because you've this group trying to pull you in, just pause and breathe and inhale, exhale. Feel your body and see if that allows you to see the truth more clearly. Return to your true self. And I think that's why a consistent mindfulness practice really matters, because you're training yourself to be like a mountain. So when the winds blow or even hurricanes strike, figuratively, you're not easily shaken. You don't usually just go, oh, I'm going to follow the group. But instead, you're able to pause and think. And I remember this Chinese saying, don't wait until you need it to hug the Buddha's feet. So this means don't wait till a crisis to change. Okay, you don't need a crisis to start practicing. You can practice now. So that when the moment comes, clarity and steadiness are already available to you. And I think why all of this matters, why mindfulness and meditation matters, is because we live in a time that group identity is so natural, and we have this label, okay, I am this and this, or I belong to that group. Those are all label, okay. And sometimes when we have the urge to disagree with the group, it feels dangerous. It feels like a betrayal to that group, and that's not true. Because what if when that moment comes, we don't escape? We're not here to defend. We offer more presence during that moment. I don't think presence means you're erasing the voice of the group. You're actually refining it, retuning it. You're offering your group more opportunity to really think deeper. It doesn't weaken your group. Like I said, it elevates it because you're giving it more opportunity. Presence gives your community a space to transform and grow. Okay, that's what we need as a group, as a collective group. I think that's what we need. And most of all, it brings us back to our original self, the true self. And when you think about it, when each of us becomes a light of clarity, and those lights gathered, it becomes a beacon that can be seen in far, far away. So I ask you, so next time you feel the automatic urge to defend, just pause, breathe, and ask yourself, who am I really? Can I think independently? Who am I really beneath the label? You erase the label, the group identity. All right? So thank you for walking this path with me. If this spoke to you, I would love to hear your reflections and in the comment section. And if you want to go deeper, please do suggest me some topics that you would like me to research on and think about. Check out the other videos in our Hello Kindness channel. Let's together grow this together with clarity, kindness, and consciousness. See you next time.